It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and I am back in PowPowPoway to talk with our client about commencing on phase 2 and also doing a check-in on phase 1, which was done about 10 months ago. So here's the entry planters that we did. Everything is just looking so good. Remember, we used giant barrel cactus from Caesar at Sun Valley and, pulled in other large specimen plants, which are Mediopictus and blue glows and a couple of ferox and a Dazzlerian longissimum and some Portulacaria. And everything is doing just exactly what I would have expected it to do. In phase 2, we are going to be removing this, I call it a weed tree. It's not doing anything at all for me. And our client is going to source some ginormous shallow bowls for these pillars. And then I'm going to plant out those bowls. I'd originally thought going like with mammillarias, but now that I'm out here, I realize no, we need something that's going to have some height and some flare in those pots. But I'll figure that out later. Over on this side, we've got our aloe Bainsii, and all of the Bainsiis in Southern California this year got hit pretty hard with fungus. It turns some, makes the leaves spotted. But, I just say don't stress, because these are old leaves. The new growth is fine, and the new growth is going to be green and gorgeous, and these leaves eventually will be discarded anyway. So don't sweat the small stuff. This aloe ferox is just finishing up a really spectacular bloom. Our Dracaena Draco over here, looking good. This rock is 3/4 inch. Yeah, the Southwest Brown is the kind of the pinkish rock. And then this is the California Gold. So these are the two rocks that we used in the back. So I introduced them out here as well. I was looking in on this Draco. Not thrown off any arms yet, but it sure will. And of course, the Dazzlerian longissimum is going to continue to grow. We've got the Pringlei, the false saguaro cactus. We've got some other low-profile cactus in here. The Yucca rostrata looks spectacular, as does the Hercules, which has thrown off another head. So that's just going to be ridiculous pretty soon. You guys remember the one in Lakeside. Oh, sorry, am I running away from you? I'm just so excited. And then this dual-headed Goliath. Actually, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, bless you, like 5 heads on this plant. And it looks like it also has some alomite right here. Yeah, watch your step. Watch out for that cactus. See right there? Yeah. Yeah. And then I can see it starting to spread up here. So I will probably take the saw and completely remove this branch if I feel like it's not going to impact the plant negatively and cause it to be off balance, which I don't think it will. I think this is definitely redeemable. It's a beautiful plant. She noticed that the alomite had started about 6 months ago. It doesn't look like it's spread. She has been treating it with a systemic product, which I think is pretty much culled it, but it's still, the damage is still there. So, oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's go ahead and head up the driveway. The flanks on the other side of the pillars are going to be phase 3 most likely, but we are next going to tackle all of the beds around this majestic home. Okay, so phase 2 is going to be these driveway flanks. Now, they just had a bunch of tree work done and a bunch of branches removed and this tree laced out, so disregard. These will all be cleaned out. We're going to start underneath this oak tree and underneath this oak tree, because the The driveway flanks are for another phase, so I need to figure out, you know, kind of my parameters, how to seamlessly end this. And see, there's some dry stack retention right here, so we'll probably just plant in front of this dry stack wall. Clients are going to, normally the trash cans are behind that gate, and they're going to put up a fence, take down this strawberry tree and put a fence across here to cover all of these utility boxes and whatnot. I mean, that's, you know me, I love a good utility box, but that's a lot. There's a lot going on. So let's just put that behind a fence and then do something pretty in front of the fence. This is the garage. And so we'll be planting all in here. All of these plants are going to come out. And this will all be succulent tapestry. Oh, God, it's so gorgeous. All of this in here. You know, this, I learned on phase 1 that this property's a bit of a fooler because it's so large. The beds, once the plants come out, are way bigger than you would think. We'll do this bed over here on the other side of the garage. Then all of this is going to come out, and we're going to be doing succulents all in front of the house. Just think of the magnificent specimen plants that we can put against this gorgeous home. Oh, God. And this will be the tapestry to end all tapestries. This grassy area right in here. This is the money, folks. I'm going to do something so incredibly spectacular in here. It's going to be so fun, too, because microclimatically, there's about 100 things going on. And we are in Poway, so it does get hot. But that's okay. Now, our clients have got 2 adorable little girls, and they pretty much own the entry to the house. They've got their little Valentine stand up there, and they put, you know, they do their dollhouse and their things. So we're not gonna bling out the entry yet, but we will pick it up over here. Do all of this. Basically, the corner of the garage right there is going to be a giant stand of Petalanthus bracteus, and then we'll pick up across the walk path and come all the way around here. Underneath all these tree branches is another area of grass that is not at all necessary, and it's kind of an infinity edge. There's a drop down into a ravine on the other side of this. So, I mean, the borrowed landscape with my succulents is going to be really, really amazing. Then here is a courtyard that we're going to throw into the mix too. Can you make it, Greg? You're coming. Okay, so this is fairly shady in here. I'm thinking that this would be a really good area for more of a tropical feel, you know, more of the larger and the smaller bromeliads, a lot of really beautiful textural rock, maybe some pebble work in here. Then this area, they open these doors. This is a beautiful fountain. This is very focal. We're going to be doing some really beautiful, large Spanish-style pottery at the corners here. And then, of course, working succulents into all of the flower beds. So this phase 2 will take a couple of weeks because we may even be adding a surprise area in the back. So this was part of our phase 1 installation. In addition to the front, we did some work in the back beds, and it's been about 10 months. We've been through a summer and a winter, and the plants have absolutely outdone themselves. Everything is great. Our client Kim says that she hasn't had any losses. She has had some snails eat at some leaves, which is annoying, but what are you going to do? This aloe ferox is being recalcitrant, pulling for the energy of the sun. I'm going to be pushing that guy back up, straightening him out. The fountain is on crack. I mean, everything is doing exactly what I want it to do. This Kalanchoe orgialis and Kalanchoe bracteus, the cousins, the blue and the copper spoons, is stunning. Look at how one blooms orange and the other blooms yellow. Ugh, gosh, so pretty. Wow. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, then magnificent pot of Petalanthus bracteus. And interestingly enough, since microclimatically it's protected and against the house, it hasn't dropped its leaves, despite the fact that it's gotten very cold here. And look at the stand of Aeonium sunburst. Isn't that insanely beautiful? Then we blinged out these flanking pool beds. We kept the pygmy palms. I love me some pygmy palms. I just think pygmy palms and succulents are like peas and carrots. We have the aloe striatas have done really well in this garden. The Echeveria harmsii ruby slippers are ruby slippering their heads off. Then I put mainly, aeoniums and crassulas under here because this gets dappled shade. So I knew that they would do really well. Look at this. Echeveria hiding underneath the aeonium. Isn't that a hoot? So that guy got nice and protected. Kevin and Mel worked these beds out, I believe. I remember Mel did this one. Look at these. Sunburst. I mean, really? You can see where they got hit with the hail and they have little freckles on them. But, oh my gosh, they're just so stunning. Despite that, what a gorgeous, gorgeous stand. And this was sort of a, oh wait, let's throw in this bed kind of situation last phase. So I dialed it in and did more of a xeriscape here. We did have one casualty. We lost a big barrel cactus. And this agave here does not look well. I'll have to do some investigating when we come in to do phase 2 and see what's going on here. I wonder if we didn't have some snout weevil possibly, because they will attack barrel cactus too. Yikes. So we'll check into that and see. But yeah, hey, I mean, that's it. That was the only casualty. Eventually, I think this Aloeferox is going to have to get moved too. I make it too big for this spot. But this is an area where they were going to put in a koi pond. But after having a couple of pond guys out, they realized that they don't want a pond. So the new idea is to do a beautiful trio of basalt stone fountains in descending sizes here. And then I just plant the rest of it all out. So they have the beautiful infinity pool. They have a waterfall that goes off for about 30 minutes at noon every day unless they're out here. And what they don't have is the fountain. So by placing it here, they can enjoy it from this wing of the home, from this wing of the home, from this wing of the home, and of course from all of the outside areas as well. So super stoked about that. This may be included in the next phase. Then we have our tapestries. Again, a bit of a challenge because of the microclimates, and some of this is in full sun, some is in deep shade, and so on and so forth. So, you can see kind of what I'm talking about with plants pouting when you look at these Aeonium sunbursts. You can look at this one planted right here, and then 4 feet over to the right, this one, and how much happier this one is for God only knows what reason. But that just goes to show you how it's really important to move your plants around to find their happy place. That Echeveria is spectac, isn't it? And the Ruchia is doing really well here. I wasn't sure because I never am with that plant. Our client from University City, the big undersea coral reef project, donated some of his Sansevieria cylindricus to this project, and those are doing really well, fireside adjacent. Kim has done a beautiful job of maintaining all of her pots, of which there are many. The little aloe dichotoma also listing, so I will straighten him up, but that is just beautiful. The trigona got hit with a little bit of cold, snapped on it a little bit, so it's looking a little rough, but will come out of it. And I mean, just look at the senecio at its base. I'm starting to rethink that plant. Even if it only lasts for a couple of years before it gets ugly, it's so pretty right now. It's almost worth it. Right? Look at that. It's just defiantly blue. Then more tapestry here. The Aloplicatilus is looking a little unhappy. I mean, I think it's absolutely fine. It just looks a little stressed. So I'll get in here and do some cleaning. It looks like it has a little mealy bug in its joints. No biggie. Make sure that the roots are okay. This bed probably gets a fair amount of water, and it might be a little too much for that aloe. So I'll take more of a look at that. Yeah, here's another Plicatilus that has some dieback happening. We'll see about it. Oh man, it's just everywhere you look, it's just insane. It's so beautiful. This bed, you can't tell probably from the video, but this is a pretty steep downslope here. And I did something that I haven't done since, or I hadn't done before, is I planted a Calisto cactus up there. I just decided, screw it. And I just put it in there amongst all the succulents. And I absolutely love that. And I think this is only going to get better as it gets taller and starts to climb the house. Look at these superbums. Happy campers in this spot. And I think this is a Gordon's Grotto Echeveria, if I'm not mistaken, and I very well may be. But you know, the cotyledons, the long fingers, they tend to get a little scrubby, but if you plant them amongst other things, they just add some understated texture to the arrangements. This is a bed over here that gets almost all shade. And the only thing that I would do differently in here is I probably wouldn't have done the long fingers. I'm not loving the long fingers, the cotyledons in this bed. So I may take those out. But look at that aeonium. It is extremely happy. And the ungies and the ovata and the aeoniums, very, very happy. More fabulous pots. The millii are doing well here, and that's always a crapshoot too. Never sure. And then this magnificent Mediterranean fan palm. We're like, what are we gonna do? Barrel cactus, of course. Such a genius idea, aren't they? Aren't they just the best? That was the only thing to do up there, and we did it, and it looks great. And then this little cutout. I don't think there's irrigation in here, is there? Yeah, this is just living off of what the good Lord gives, and it's doing fine. But you can see how the undulatas are a little stunted because they don't get that much water. And then here, I just decided to keep it really simple with some aloe vera. And this is not disappointing me. And it will be able to continue to fill in, and I will not be at all offended. Then over here, we just rolled one of her big, beautiful pots down and did a plant out in it. Stuck a couple of aloe cameronii at the base. These I will dig out, cut off the roots, and reset so we can get that beautiful red color from them. But yeah, that's, oh, and then under here, they were going to do something under here with some decomposed granite, but you know, life happened. So I'm thinking and was suggesting that we take this 3/4 inch rock and do this under that fire pit. No plants, just this rock. I think that'll look really, really great. So we are going to be bringing in the same rocks to phase 2 that we have in phase 1, and we've got a combination of the gold and the Southwest brown, both in the 3/4 inch, and Then the rubble is honey quartz or Baja Cresta, and the boulders are a mixture of what looked good at the rock yard. So this is going to happen at the end of April. It is currently the first part of March. We are booked until then, so that's the soonest I can get it in. Can't wait to bring you guys along. This is going to be another really, really majestic installation. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, reporting from PowPowPoway with your succulent tip of the day and a potential for phase 2. Bye, guys.